Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Jarl Conrad versus Cadilakor in round 2 lower bracket of the 5th Asia Pacific tournament. Today we're going to be seeing on the Allied side the 2nd Armoured French under command of Jarl Conrad, and on the Axis side the Festung Gross-Paris. So this is certainly an interesting matchup, one that I think the French can definitely take advantage of in Phase B. Now I realise that the economy of the Festung really increases in Phase B, but I'm not sure they have enough tanks, for example, to take on the Shermans that the 2nd Armoured can bring out in those phases. So you get plenty of like the 2-star M4A1s or M4A3s, and those can really go to work against the limited armour that the Festung will have access to until Phase C. So Jarl Conrad will have that sort of window of opportunity for the Phase B 10 minutes to really take advantage of that, and I think that's where we're going to see most of the ground taken. In Phase A it may be a little bit different, because Festung can actually play quite a lot of decent tanks. They're not the best, but you can get B2s, for example, and you can also get quite significant AT in a lot of Panzerstrecks and stuff like that. So there will be answers for a lot of the armour pressure that the 2nd Armoured can put on early, in the form of things like Stuarts and the M10s, of course. So that's kind of the matchup I'm going to be looking for. On this map in particular, this is Odon. There is this major road down the centre here, and this town will be contested. However, there is a very real opportunity that Cadilakor won't even go for it. He might just try and spread out down the bottom and push through these tree lines rather than trying to push into this town, since pioneers are a thing on the side of the French. There are some flamethrowers, whereas Cadilakor will lack those. Cadilakor will be relying on either the Landesschützen or the Bewährungs, and the Bewährungs are great, but not at close range. So that's something we're going to have to watch out for. They're not great at long range either, but just their high strength makes them better for defense and offense. So you don't really want to use them to contest that town, for example. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the units that are going down here. We do have 1 Bewährungs, 2 Bewährungs. There's going to be a Panzerstreck, 2 command infantry, and there is going to be a 2nd Panzerstreck, sorry, a Landesschützen, and some more Bewährungs with an AT following up. On the top side, it's going to be another Panzerstreck, 2 more Panzerstrecks, Landesschützen, Bewährungs, Command, 2 Panzerjäger 35s, and a Befehl BMW. So these Panzerjägers are going to be crucial for that push on the top side, and it looks like what Cadilakor is going to be going for is this sort of top side push. It could work out, but honestly will be countered in the open quite heavily if an M10 gets up to this top side. So we'll have to wait and see if an M10 does approach that position, because if it does, Cadilakor could be in trouble. On the side of Jarl Conrad, he has a couple of the voltages. He does have some Nueve, WC25 with the 50 cal, AM M20 with some Spy, and a bazooka there as well. No pioneers though, because they normally come in the WC25s, I believe, although there is an M10 at the start. More recon for the mid and for the bottom side. So it looks like Jarl Conrad is also going to be going for a top side orientated push, with the M20s sort of holding the bot side. Could be quite risky. If an AT gun gets onto these M20s, then we could see a rather large swing in favour of Cadilakor on the bottom side. But it would be up to Cadilakor to identify this, and I don't believe he has that much recon, if any. He's completely neglected recon at the start of the game, so that may be something that he invests in later on. And sometimes I think it's okay with certain divisions to just get your powerful units onto the field straight away, and then invest in recon later on. And that's kind of what the 1st Infantry, for example, does, and that's why it's still quite strong in Phase A, even though it has no recon available. But anyway, this is 2nd Armoured and Festung, so let's focus on that. We can see if I highlight these that we are not going to be going all the way to the town with Cadilakor's units. He's actually going to be spreading out to this bottom side. He's also going to be sort of unloading in the top here. For Jarl Conrad, it's just fast move and unload at position for this town. For this building, which is pretty important, I believe that will be 1 unit of voltages. Yeah, just taking that up. The Nueve have moved to the top side with the M10. So it looked like there was going to be a concentrated push on the top, but apparently not. 50 cal has been put into the church. Bevelongs, though, here, they are on return fire, so they're not going to be firing back. You can see that at range, at 400 meter range, they only have 2 HE. Anyway, group of spy going to be coming into this tree line, bumping into a hell of a lot of infantry. Get absolutely annihilated. Panzerschreck was spotted though, most likely. Grenadier also spotted. Smoke comes down from the Grenadier. Nueve, oh, they might find themselves pinned in the face of the Panzerschreck. That's dangerous, as the half-track does get killed by the Panzerschreck. That Nueve almost got instant surrendered. That would have been devastating for that top side. Those Nueve, you want to keep them alive as long as you can because they are fantastic at both long range and short range. 8 HE output at long range, sort of the 10 HE at close range. Very versatile squad. The only downside is they don't have an AT weapon, for example. So a relatively passive start from both players. Not too much aggression, just a couple units bumping into each other here and there. I think it was just this half-track went down and the recon went down. So all engagements in favour of Cadilakor so far, but it looks like his push is going to come from the bot side at the moment. Although he is investing in a pack 40 for the top side here, which may be a direct counter to the M10 if he did see it. There is, I think, some flamethrowers on the way here, but what I'd like to see is recon. There's quite simply no recon yet. Panzerschreck has been spotted by the group of spy. It's going to come under fire from the 50 cal in the church and also the 50 cal on the M20. Needs to get back into cover for sure. The Verlongs, they're going to take some shots, but probably no damage. Saying that, they take 1 man. 1 man goes down. But no points gained or lost on either side just yet. Bevelong's going to come up and engage the Nueve. Those Bevelongs will absolutely get wrecked by the Nueve at close range. Bevelongs, yes, they have a lot of men, but they don't quite have the same HE value as Nueve. Same with Landerschutzen, yes, they have 6 HE, but Nueve have 10. So they've also got the veterancy, which helps them out. In this case, though, an overwhelming amount of Landerschutzen. Like if that was a 2v1, then Nueve would be in trouble, and that would be a cost-efficient way for Cadilakor to engage that Nueve squad if he wanted to. Briefly pushing the +1 there. He is starting to find some ground. Recon finally coming in. I'm surprised that we didn't see more of these Panhard MGs at the start, though. He's coming with the Aufkladder, and I think the Panhard MGs are really, really strong just because they have that 3 front armor, which is stronger than half-tracks, and they still have an MG that can kill off enemy half-tracks. And like the MG34 is just really good at doing that. So I was surprised not to see any of those come in at the start, as they can be useful as fire support to take on enemy units. But the Flammenwerfer here, that is not supported by these Landerschutzen. If you want to use a Flammenwerfer, the ideal engagement would be to have the Landerschutzen sort of go first and engage the Nueve, and then allow the Flammenwerfer to engage afterwards. In this case, Cadilakor getting away with that for sure. The Nueve backing off, or I think it was just because they were moving that they didn't get accurate shots onto the Flammenwerfer, and the Flammenwerfer survives with that engagement. Now the Panzerjäger here did manage to pick off the M20 on the top side. 50 cal is going to open up onto the Panzerjäger. Panzerjäger is going to fire back. There is, however, an AT gun that's going to unload right in the face of this Panzerjäger, and that's going to cause massive threat in the centre of the map. On this bottom side, Jarl Conrad is looking for a little bit of ground. He's moving up the group of Spahi, and he's got the voltages into the tree line here. They've, I think, found these Panzerschrecks, or maybe they will shortly. Yeah, the Panzerschreck might even go down, which would be a nice kill for Jarl Conrad, as it will allow his M20 and the Stuart to be a lot more aggressive, knowing that that is dead and there is unlikely to be a second one in the same place. D520 does come in to strafe the 6-pounder here on the 57mm, but Spitfire is going to force that back. And with the amount of 50 cals available on the side of the French, significant AA is actually a thing, just inherently due to the amount of 50 cals that there are. The Verdungs do get spotted. They're going to come under a fire of the 30 cals of the Stuart and the M20, get pinned down very quickly indeed. Nueve still haven't been finished off here, but you can see a little bit of ground is sort of being taken here by Cadilakor by him controlling this tree line. Jarl Conrad's going to want to stop that. He's bringing up another Nueve squad. Going to continue to contest this engagement. He's got a command car M3 here, which is pretty smart. When these Nueve are 3-star, they are very strong indeed. The M10 on the top side, that's going to look for the engagement onto this Pack 40. Spitfire's strafing that. The salience that Jarl Conrad is finding at the moment in sort of the mid here, with his 6-pounder, and on the bottom side with these vehicles, is working out very well indeed. I kind of expected it to end up like this for Phase A. It's very hard for either player to really make a lot of ground early on, since they match up pretty well. It's going to be in Phase B where the difference really comes. When the 2-star Shermans start arriving, that's going to make the difference. And the M5A1 at close range here, 3-star veterancy will annihilate those Landesschützen. Could even force a surrender there, since there is no command star on that unit. D520 coming in for the strafing run onto the 6-pounder again, but the D520. Look at the fire from that 3-star 50 cal half track. It really does do the job. On this bottom side, Pack 38 was taken out, but now the Puma's getting involved. That could be interesting for sure. And what's funny though is, since all of Jarl Conrad's units squeezed around the bottom side, they've actually found themselves surrounded after Cadilakor smartly moved forwards his Panhard MG and just avoided these units entirely, but encircling them in the process. That is a really, really awesome move here from Cadilakor, and gives him a significant territory lead of +1, maybe even a +2 shortly. We'll have to wait and see. But managing to find and kill off one of the half tracks, he's going to be looking to clean up the M20 with the Panzerschreck. Might even find the M5A1 shortly after. This Stuart is in such a tough spot right now, being completely surrounded. And it's just very amusing that this Panhard MG managed to do that. Really, really smart move. Now this Panzerschreck, yeah, like I said, got to be very careful with this M5A1. It is getting close to range. It's about 300 meters away at the moment. He's 250 meter range. The Puma can also kill the Stuart quite easily, and will reveal it with its recon. So that could be a chance for Cadilakor to sort of run out the forest here and find the kill onto that Stuart. On this bottom side, 50 cal, just that little bit more effective than an MG34, so he's going to be able to force back the Panhard MG. In the mid, things are looking okay for Jarl Conrad. He's even got a Bofors. It's not going to stop these bombs being released though, and that is going to annihilate that 6-pounder. So Cadilakor already investing in one bomber, and those bombers, if placed correctly, can really swing engagements, especially armoured engagements, because those bombers are exceptional at stunning, and that way you can just surrender your opposing tanks rather than just kill them. And this M20 is basically just ran down those Landesschützen. It's running down the Panhard MG. The Panhard MG is trying to get away. With the M20 regaining ground, it has meant that this Stuart is no longer behind enemy lines. So this is a really nice comeback down here from Jarl Conrad, using just enough of his forces to gain back ground. Panzerschreck has been spotted, is going to get stunned by the Spitfire. In the centre, M10 is going to engage the Panzerjäger, does find the kill. Really, really nice job. M10 probably going to beat Panzerjägers every time. It does have the 8 front armor, which is significant enough to do the job. Puma here, going to be taking out the M20. Once again though, the salient forms in front of the Beveraungs, and that is going to cause the Stuart, I think, to be surrounded once again. The group of Spy have been found due to the recon on the Puma, and that is nice indeed. Panzerschreck able to now sneak up onto this Stuart. Stuart's just going to want to get out of there, but is in an incredibly risky position, surrounded by AT infantry right now. The Beveraungs do of course have the H3, but the Panzerschreck is going to be the one to do the job, and a +1 once again on the board for Cadilakor. So the Spitfire Mark 9 comes in, strafes the Pak 40, that's down to 1 health, but we all know 1 health AT guns are the most powerful. Nueve going to be hitting the Beveraungs alongside this 50 cal. This 50 cal has actually been doing work from that tower, has really nice sight lines. That Bofors going to be able to help pin down the D520. I'm pretty sure that's a dead D520 now, unless the 88 has something to say about it, but I'm not sure that's going to be unloaded. There's no point in unloading in that position. I guess you could and then just reload it afterwards, but still. Now we've moved into Phase B, I think it's really Jarl Conrad's chance to make some serious ground. The 2-star M4A2s are arriving. I think at the start I said M4A1 and M4A3, but not M4A2, so my bad. M4A2s, 2-star veterancy, really, really strong for the Phase B push. And we'll have to wait and see if that can actually come to effect, because against the Puma, for example, M4A2 wins every time. In the middle here, this F307 pack could be a pretty large risk for Jarl Conrad. He was very lucky there, Jarl, to not have that pack kill his M10. And a second shot. Wow. Yeah, this S307 pack, unlucky with those shots for sure. Might be able to find a third. Does pin down the M10, but doesn't hit. Now what happened here was a half-track advance. The Beveraungs took it out. So they are now under fire, but maybe we'll be hidden again soon. Yes, indeed. The Spy are not close enough. S07 pack. Oh, these engagements are scary for Jarl Conrad. You don't want to be facing into that. And what I honestly like to see is this Grenadier move back and try and give that the 3-star veterancy, because those things are deadly at 3-star. Really smart moves by the 50mm mortar here. That's going to be pinning down the Nueve and the voltages, allowing the Beveraungs to push forwards and gain a favourable engagement. M10 has managed to kill off the Befel bike, and also the recon went down for Cadilakor, so he's a little bit blind on the top side. But if he can take out these 2 infantry in this tree line, it's going to leave him in a pretty sweet spot. Pak 40 is getting line of sight onto the M4A2, not going to find the kill. Panzerschreck looking for the shot onto the M5A1 half-track. Now this M10, it did get weapon jammed. S307 pack must have done that. It's getting onto the main road now, which could make things difficult for Jarl Conrad to reinforce the main road. But with an M4A376 on the way, that will definitely be a lot more efficient at taking on an S307 pack from range. Pak 40. That's going to kill the M10. 1 health AT guns are the deadliest. I say it every time. Stug 3G does manage to internal fragment the M4A2 as well. This is probably one of the only decent tanks that the Festung get in Phase B, and it did its job there, taking on the M4A2, and the Panzerjäger actually going to finish it off, so really, really nice job. Now the 50 cal in the tower is actually able to pin down this S307 pack if it has enough time on target, so Cadilakor's got to be wary of that and move out of the way. The Beveraungs in the forest though, they pushed onto the voltages, and Nueve got a little bit too far. M5A1 with the 50 cal managed to take it out, and well, the Spitfire comes in to strafe the Pak 40 but does not do the last damage necessary to kill it off, so the 1-star Pak 40 is still alive. Stug 3 and the Marder 3s, they're going to be engaging this Spy as it's revealed by the Beveraungs. And in comes the bombing strikes once again. Ju-188s, they're going to be absolutely carpet bombing both the town and this infantry on the bottom side. don't quite pin the M5A1 though, and that is significant. They do, however, pin like the infantry in the mid, and if there was a unit that could take advantage of that, then that would be multiple surrenders, and the Puma would be perfect. Is one of these Ju-188s going to go down? I think it might do. The Spitfire's had plenty of time on target, but I think it ran out of 20mm ammunition. Yeah, so it didn't even get the kill in the end. That is a massive shame. Those 2 HE is just not good enough. Where's this Ju-188 going? It's not even evacing. Maybe he's trying to bait the Spitfire with the AA. That would be really, really smart, actually. Just have the Ju-88 fly over this AA, bring in like a D520 and shoot down the Spitfire. Maybe he's just hoping that the Ju-188 can beat the Spitfire, because so far it is, which is very amusing indeed. Beverlongs do take a lot of damage on this bottom side, the M5A1 half-track. Those are absolutely deadly when they bring in the Nueve, because they can become that 3-star veterancy that you can see there. On the bottom side, Puma's going to be engaging the M4A2 at close range. First shot, driver knockout on the M4A2, driver wounded for the Puma. Puma's going to manage to get out of there. AA has come in. That's going to be a 35. Is that Ju-188 still out there? It is. What is it doing? He's got a move order on it, so he knows that it's empty. Maybe he's testing AA? I don't know what this is doing, but Spitfire gets shot down by the by the Flak 36. Very amusing indeed. That was a hell of an engagement. Now the M4A3 coming up trumps against the Marder. Very nice job there. And Beverlongs, with the assistance of the mortar, double surrender. That's what he was looking for earlier. Finds it later on. Stug 3 now going to be going for the engagement with the M4A376 as it falls back. Cadilakor, I think, has just played this very smart. He didn't get too aggressive early. He's now taking advantage of his income to sort of counteract the strong units that the French can bring in. And having killed the M4A2 on the top side, that puts it in a very good position, because it takes away a lot of the pushing power that Jarl Conrad would have otherwise had. But the main problem that I see with Jarl Conrad's play so far is that he is not concentrating his units enough. One thing that is really good about the 2nd Armoured French is when they do concentrate their forces, they are exceptionally powerful. P-38 Lightning going to be coming in with the rockets, try and pin down this Stug 3. Stug 3 is going to try and retreat from the M4A3, but the M4A3 does have the 76mm gun, which has the 1,200 meter range. So Stug 3 it actually gets into light cover, which is going to hide it briefly as it retreats. Will one more shot go off? No, it will not. The line of sight not quite there. So now we see a Pak 38 coming into this bottom side. That's going to assist this Puma against a push from the M8 Spy and the M4A2. The Puma is going to want to help out, but actually the S-07 Pak is in position, and the Pak 38 does the job. Really nice first shot there actually from the Pak. Usually they miss with the first shot, but this time around not so much. Puma again engaging the M4A2 at close range. S-07 Pak is going to want to get into position to take that on. Ju-188, I'd like to see that actually bomb the M4A2, because then you could definitely rush it down with either the S-07 Pak or the Puma. But in this case, going to go for the bombing run onto both of these Nueve squads, maybe since they were putting down fire onto his Beverlongs. But in come more Landesschützen, they're going to take more ground. I really like that Cadilakor has managed to push up on this top side though. It's giving him the +1, even if it is just a 53% territory lead. So things staying fairly even at the moment in Phase B, which is not something you want to see if you're the French. This M4A2 though, going to run down this S-07 Pak. The S-07 Pak is so dead. 50 cal actually finishes it off with the veterancy on the M4A2. Easy peasy. Now the M4A2 going to be engaging the Puma at close range again. The Puma lacks the aim time. This is a silly engagement from Cadilakor. Yeah, that's just going to go straight down. This is the beauty of the Shermans. They are just so good at close range. Even the M4A376, if that managed to sneak around here just to engage either one Stug or one Panzer, it'd win every time. But Spitfire Mark 9 coming in for the strafing run onto the Pack 40. Don't tell me this is the same Pack 40 from before, because that is just ludicrous. But either way, Pack 38 might save the day here. I doubt it, as the M4A2 does get onto target with all of its machine guns and its main gun. So a little bit of a break in the front line down here for Jarl Conrad against Cadilakor. Might be able to make this work, and it's all come down to the M4A2 2-star, which I mentioned at the beginning of the game. These things can do work, but now we are into Phase C, and that's where the Panthers come into play. So Panther now pushing towards this top side is very easily going to deal with M4A376s at range. So Jarl Conrad, I'd like to see these M4A3s get closer to this tree line. He will have to be careful, of course, of Panzerschrecks, but if he brings in recon, it should be okay. Ju-188 going to once again bomb infantry. Nueve are going to find themselves pinned down, but don't take too much damage from the bombing strike. I really just don't like the way that Cadilakor uses those bombers when he's just bombing infantry. I think it's a waste. You can bomb tanks and surrender tanks, and then when their tanks are gone, you then take advantage of that with your own armoured vehicles. So yeah, in my opinion, he missed the chance on the bottom side to stun up the M4A2 and kill it with the S307 and the Puma, because the Ju-188 would pin it down. Either way, Cadilakor not in a super bad position, but he doesn't have any tanks or significant units down here on this bottom side at the moment. Panzerschreck is going to have to stay hidden, because if he loses the Panzerschreck, this M4A2 could make even more ground, and well, it's been revealed, so it's going to go down. And Nueve, though, taking a lot of damage in the process. That push there was not very nice for the Nueve. Panther G, however, it's on the way. The beauty of the Festung coming into play. And now this Panther G will look for an engagement with the M4A3 on the top side. This Panther G will look for engagement with the M4A2 on the bottom side. And if it just continues to fast move up this road, it will find a shot. And that is exactly what Cadilakor is looking for. A one-shot kill onto this M4A2 would be absolutely beautiful for him, because then he could bring in more infantry and really dominate this bottom side of the map. And the M4A2 is actually moving more into line of sight, shows side armor, goes down to the Panther G, and that is a beautiful kill for Cadilakor. Grenfjord are going to be able to save themselves against the Nueve. Could also just smoke off the other Nueve squad if they needed to, but Ju-188 coming in again. Oh, this could be a tasty bombing strike. I like this one. That's going to hit all of this infantry as it comes in to reinforce, and that is nasty. Kills off the bazooka squad there. Kills off one of the WC-52s. Kills so much infantry, especially since these are all volunteers. They're fantastic at 100 meter range. And the fact they're now lacking men is going to make them obviously less effective at close range. Panther G still looking for an engagement on this top side. The M4A3 is actually being forced to retreat. One thing that could be done though here is if Jarl Conrad plays this smartly, whilst this Panther G is like facing armor towards the half track, you could quite simply ambush it with the M4A3s. Double P38 Lightning come in with the rocket strike. M4A3 going for the engagement. Will they be able to find the kill, however? I'm not entirely sure. The Panther G is reversing away with front armor facing, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure that that's going to come about. However, with the track wheel destroy, that may be a different outcome altogether. Crew now knocked out as well. Can the Pack 40 save the day? It's got a long way to go. Also, I think the M4A376 would remain out of line of sight. It's really up to this other M4A3 to come up and help out. There's going to be a lot of bounces before that gets killed. M4A3 may be there a little while. Ju-188 is going to come in for the bombing strike onto the mortar. This is more like it. I'm very much liking these bombing strikes. Panther does go down on that top side finally. Ju-188, yeah, these are more like it. Like that last bombing strike onto the infantry reinforcement was spectacular. This one killing off the mortar is really nice as well, as it definitely prevents Jarl Conrad's infantry from making too much more ground, and has now allowed him to bring in Panzer Grenadiers that can easily engage volunteers at a distance. The Spitfire just not doing well to take on the Ju-188, but this time it does have 20mm ammunition, so this Ju-188 should go down, unless the 88 gets involved and the D520 gets on its tail. So the Spitfire instead going to go down. That's 2 Spitfires dead. Ju-188s come out on top once again. Ooh, it's the 1 health AT gun, guys. It's coming in. It's going to transmission damage the M4A376. Will it be able to get on target? Ooh, this is dangerous. The 50 cal is surely going to finish things off. If not the main gun. The main gun missed. Oh, no. The Pak 40 with 1 health does the job. Bam! Straight onto the M4A376. Fantastic stuff. 1 health AT guns. We're behind you. And it's absolutely crazy how much work they can do sometimes. I don't know why I enjoy that so much. Maybe it's just because it proves my theory that one health AT guns are seriously broken. Anyway, ROA on this bottom side, going to be killing the Spy. Aufklärer has been brought in with the Panhard, which is going to pin down the voltages from range. Panther G overkills this WC-52. Cadilakor is sitting in the driving seat here. He's got a +1 still. There is 12 minutes and 55 seconds left on the clock. It hasn't been a super exciting game in a sense that there hasn't been much front line shifting. But in terms of the kills, it's been brilliant. And some of these bombing strikes from Cadilakor have actually become very good. In this case, once again, just like bombing 2 men in the Nueve. Okay, you killed off the squad, but is that really an efficient, cost-efficient use of a Ju-188? I'm not entirely sure. You could have just done the job with your D520 here. So, yeah, it's interesting. I think there were certainly moments when Cadilakor could have taken advantage of Jarl Conrad, but Jarl Conrad here, he's got an M4A3 on this top side. He doesn't really have another one, and he doesn't have any artillery yet, which is odd to me. I think as soon as you see an 88, my natural response these days is to just buy an artillery piece, because they are hard counters, especially by things like priests, which you can get on the side of the French. But he may just be struggling for economy. He's only got the 115 points per minute in phase C, and that is not very much at all. Ooh, 188 shot there. Actually falls back the P38 Lightning. That is spectacular. The D520 actually going to get on the tail of the P38. Will the P38 go down? I'm not entirely sure it will. It's only 2 HE from 30 cals. But that might be enough. P38s are very fragile. But in this case, I think Cadilakor pulled that off himself. Maybe thought he wouldn't get it either. Anyway, Aufklärer do go down to the voltages. Panhard MG getting involved again. Panzer 40's going to be rolling up. Ju-188 finally used to actually bomb a tank. And that is very nice indeed. Although I don't think it was aimed on the tanks, it was aimed for the voltages. But yeah, this is when like a Panhard MG, for example, could just drive up and surrender an M4A376, which would be a fantastic trade. Ju-188 coming in once again. Kills off the WC-52, fair enough. But you have Panzer 40s to do that. Like, again, the main issue here is you want this Panther G to kill an M4A376, right? So why not just bomb that and then have the Panther G just kill it? That is the simple way around it. On this top side, this is smart. So this is more like it. Ju-188, bomb the M4A376, then have the Panzerjäger move up and kill it at close range. That is a smart use of the Ju-188s. And also, since it's falling back, it's just not going to do what Jarl Conrad wants it to, and gives Cadilakor an easy kill. So, let's go Panzerjäger 35. Can you do the job? The M4A3 is turning around, does get engine destroyed. Going to have side armor facing. Panzerjäger will do the job. Nice kill there. Oh, also the Panther G finds the M4A3 in the center. If this third M4A3 goes down, it's pretty much over for Jarl Conrad, but Jarl Conrad not convinced he can win, and after 30 minutes and 12 seconds, is going to surrender to Cadilakor. Fantastic job, honestly. Cadilakor played that very smartly. He didn't play too aggressively, he traded very well with his units, and I expect the KD to be well in his favour. Yeah, 2,720 kills to 1,350 losses. So, although that was the case, the Festung's quite a slow division in a sense that there's not many super fast units they can use. They do, of course, have the Panhard MGs, and they can fast move down roads to surrender things. But there's a limited amount of them on the map for sure. And in general, your infantry is very slow. So that's why he couldn't make a lot of ground very quickly. And I think it also came down to the fact he was playing against the French, who can reinforce themselves very quickly in Phase A and B, which is why the only progress that was being made was really in Phase C. Jarl Conrad, I think, failed to sort of utilize the French by concentrating those 2-star M4A2s to really crush one flank or the other. He definitely made a lot of breakthrough on the bottom side with just one of them. Imagine what he would have done with 2. Like, that could have taken a serious amount of ground, and then he just reinforces it with the half-tracks. The trouble is with pushing on the bottom side, though, is that there's no direct road to reinforce it, which makes it very difficult to sort of take advantage of the push that you've made and the ground that you've made, right? Whereas if he'd pushed on the top side, especially when he had like the double M4A376s, if he'd had the M4A2s up there as well, sort of softening things up, that could have been a very different story, because the half-tracks and reinforcing infantry can quite simply zoom up that road and take advantage of the ground made. One thing that was clever, though, was Cadilakor spotted and bombed the reinforcing infantry that was trying to take advantage of what the M4A2 was doing, which left Cadilakor, or Jarl Conrad, sorry, hung out to dry with his volunteers, which in the end weren't very effective. So just smart moves all round by Cadilakor, not too aggressive, played his own game, and although I don't agree with many of his Ju-188 strikes, a lot of them were good, so that was nice to see. Let's jump over to the kills. So yeah, this M4A2, well, I think it was this one, yeah, took out the Puma, the Pack, the Panhard MG, and all of those other units. Really, really nice strong push on the top side. A second one would have made even more ground. This one really didn't do too well on the top. Further down, M4A3, that took out a Marder 3 and a Panther G in the end, with that double P38 strike. But that was pretty much it, right? Between the M4A2 and the M4A3, there's nothing else significant here, which is kind of what I expected. The M4A2s and the M4A3s were the key units that he would need to use in Phase B to make a lot of ground against the Festung. In terms of losses, however, Pack 40, 1-star Pack 40 takes out, or 1-star, 1 health, Pack 40 takes out an M10 and an M4A376 and the M20. The Puma did okay on this bottom side, cleaning up the half-tracks and the M20. Panzerschreck killing off the Stuart is more than enough. This is a 30-point Panzerschreck after all. Killing off the other units is just a bonus. Ju-188s were used pretty smartly, but won't find themselves to have too many kills. It's more the Marder 3s and all that kind of stuff taking advantage of it. In this case, the Marder 3 killed off the M4A2 in the end. That was on the top side. Panther G, these both came in and got their fair share of kills, which was nice to see. Those Ju-188s actually killed off both Fusilier Marine squads. That was on the reinforcements when they were brought in. That's just really, really nice. And yeah, in the end, Cadilakor, just really, really solid game. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Congratulations to Cadilakor. He's going to be moving on to the lower bracket round 3. Jarl Conrad is going to be dropping out of the tournament. It's unfortunate, but commiserations to him. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.